Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
After a thrilling race last week at Las Vegas, won by the 27 of Gabe Ellison, the SimRacerHub.com Challenge Series returns to a track so befitting of these Gen 4 cars, one that has not been on the active calendar in years. And the SimRacerHub.com Challenge Series tonight presents Race 5 of the Challenge Series from the virtual Rockingham Speedway here in North Carolina. As our league sponsors stroll across the stream here, Rapid Fire Pizzas, Aspiration Homes, and more. Much appreciated to all of them for bringing this series together. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Alex Gagnon. Alongside me in the booth tonight, Bradley Cooper. Bradley feeling a little under the weather, but he'll still be here bringing us the action tonight from the Rock. I'm going to have a quick second here, hopefully, to take a look at the points coming into tonight's race. Should be a fun one. Casey Carrington, with his second place finish last week, jumps to the lead of the points here. Gabe Ellison, Michael Sturgill, hot on his heels, as are a number of other hungry drivers in the field tonight. We'll see what the Rock has in store for us in just about 30 seconds or so. Qualifying just wrapping up. We'll take a quick look at tonight's race, or tonight's schedule. So obviously Rockingham tonight, Charlotte and Michigan on the way, tonight being race 5. You know, Bradley, this is a track that really befits these cars. I feel like Gen 4 car and Rockingham really go together. Some of the best fits of car and track in all of iRacing.
We've seen that combination a couple times here, Alex, so far this season. Tracks that were designed for this stock car all the way through the season. And as it goes, this is really one of those places that, yeah, it's abandoned, but it lives on in the realms of the virtual world. And even when they go, I believe there's some ARCA Series racing that they're trying to revamp this racetrack. So it's still very much standing, but you see Charlotte, Michigan, Richmond, a lot of places that you can go back to the early 2000s and think of the great finishes, the great races they had there.
Yeah, and this track, no exception. That great finish with Kevin Harvick and Jeff Gordon in 01, Casey Kane and Matt Kenseth in 04, some classics. Quick race analysis here. 150 laps tonight from Rockingham. 5 sets of tires available with 2 attempts at green, white, checkered if they need it. 1 scheduled stage break happening tonight at lap 75. 100% fuel with the iRacing fixed setup. And this series has not had a caution in over 3 full races. So wondering if that'll be the case here again tonight. They're going to try and set the Vspeed broadcast record of 4 straight races of one season with no cautions. We'll see if they can make it happen. But let's take a look at tonight's starting grid now that qualifying has concluded. On the pole tonight, it is the 63 machine of Curtis White, a 24.687. Tonight's fast time, 1,000th of a second ahead of Casey Carrington, the points leader. Row 2, Gabe Ellison, last week's runner-up, and Craig Martin in the 22 will start to his outside. In row 3, it is Josh Taylor in the 7, Stan Carnathan in the 82. Row 4, we see the 81 of Sheldon Atkins and Michael Garone in the 66. And in row 5, the 24 of Michael Mullins and the 92 of Daniel Giroux.
Josh Dillon's going to start in 11th position with Jose Ruiz in 12th. 13th spot goes to Dylan Rosenberg. Jeff Noe in 14th. 15th, Joseph Plogger with Tim Bruce in 16th spot. 17th goes to Kyle Shelton with Chris Waddle in 18th. And rounding out your 20-car field here today, 2 cars that didn't elect to take qualifying times, Clinton Sneed and Andy Oak in the number 19.
That is the 20-car field that are getting ready to go here from Rockingham. Nice little aerial view. You can see how unique this track is laid out. You know, it is such a narrow exit, both in turns 2 and 4. A little bit of a tri-oval down through that front straightaway, but not nearly as much room as you would think. Spanning through now the entrance to turn 1. And this is a track that was a staple of the NASCAR series for so many years, until they left the track in 2004 after that great finish with Casey Kane and Matt Kenseth. We have an opportunity to bring it back to life here tonight with this 20-car field for the SimRacerHub.com Challenge Series. Lights off on the pace car, which means we'll be just about ready to get racing at the Rock. 20 cars lined up nose to tail. Pace car going to make that hard left turn down pit road. And they'll hit the restart zone, and we are racing here at Rockingham. White is going to lead him back to the line here to lead the opening lap of this race. Gabe Ellison hot on his heels. Already the field starting to stretch out behind them. It is not easy to run lap after lap side by side here, especially in these Gen 4 cars. You'll see a lot of cars start to single file out and then make their move once everyone starts to settle in.
Well, that's really the product, was we have a car a little bit loose there. I think that was Stan Carnathan. No, that was actually the 22 machine of Craig Martin. Got a little loose out of turn 4, brought it all the way down to the apron. It's going to be very difficult to pass, especially on the inside through 1 and 2. You can see Craig Martin actually struggled to just stay side by side on the exit of turn 2, and now loses another spot to Josh Taylor.
Yeah, you see him starting to fall back a little bit through the field. Taking a look at the 91 of Dylan Rosenberg. Just got around the 66 of Michael Garone. Oh, big moment there for Carnathan. He got out of the throttle big time. Going to lose a ton of positions in the process.
He's going to hold on to it, though. That's the important thing. I've seen a lot of times guys get loose there, and they shoot it back up into traffic on the backstretch.
Yeah, and that's the worst place you want to shoot up the track, is going into turn 3, as everyone's trying to dive down into the corner. If your car's going up the wrong way, chances are you'll meet somebody in the middle. Luckily there for the 82, nothing to worry about that time around. But you can see here already, the lead cars of Curtis White and Gabe Ellison starting to pull away a little bit from this field. Ellison winning last week in Vegas, going to try and make it 2 in a row tonight if he can get around the 63 and start leading some laps here. But points leader Casey Carrington riding along in 3rd. Going to try and reel him in as well. Not going to let him try and get too much of an advantage here in the early going.
And Casey has kind of proven that he can do the strategy portion of these races, manipulate things in his favor. Didn't work out quite as well last week, but the week prior at Atlanta, it worked to a T. He was able to stay out there and do what he needed to do. Vegas, you know, everybody was kind of educated on what he did to get that stage and win. But, yeah, I think right now with the 43 and the fact that the 3 of, why am I drawing blanks right now? Sturgill isn't
Sturgill.
here. Yeah. So the 3 car, Sturgill not being here 2 weeks in a row, that's going to help solidify Casey Carrington's lead.
Yeah, it really will help stretch that. It'll also help Ellison stretch the gap over his teammate there in Sturgill. Obviously missing two races in the opening 5. Going to be a bit of a damper on things for the 3 machine, especially as he was the points leader going into Las Vegas last week. But this could be a prime opportunity once again for a couple of cars that we don't always see up in the mix at the front of the field to try and make something happen. Obviously, Curtis White, our leader here right now, and the pole sitter. He has been by far the man to beat in the opening 9-10 laps here. But also drivers like Josh Taylor and Craig Martin lurking in 4th and 5th. A couple of guys who might be able to capitalize on the event today if something goes wrong for the 27 and 43.
But it's a unique racetrack, and that means you have unique scenarios. You get some of these guys that don't normally run up in the top 3 or 4 of the whole race, and you're starting to see Josh Taylor work his way towards the front. Remember, he's kind of had a top 10 car, but not a top 5 car. So for him to be hanging around here, that up 1 spot already, it kind of proves that this racetrack is an acquired taste. And if you get the hang of it, you can very easily make it one of those tracks you circle on the schedule on your calendar.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime there's a track that is not regularly run, it's always an opportunity for something interesting to happen for those who may not be as familiar with it. On board here, I believe, with the 91 of Dylan Rosenberg. Up 5 positions already from where he qualified. Currently running P8, trying to get to the back bumper of Sheldon Atkins up ahead of him. But a good early going here for the 91 after a less than ideal qualifying session.
So when they were giving us the race analysis here, Alex, I saw 150 laps, and I thought, well, if they do decide to have one of those caution-plagued races, this is a track that it's just going to get worse and worse. With that much distance, it's a lot of time. Yes, 150 laps doesn't seem like much when it's less than 1.5 miles long. But this place just knows to breed cautions, and once guys start to get excited if they don't stay spread out, turn 2 can make you pay.
Yeah, I mean, we saw in the overhead shot, we'll go on board here with Curtis White. You can see how quickly this outside wall jumps up at you when you get out of the corner. You know, it's deceptively there, especially if you have to run side by side off the corner. If things get real narrow on corner exit, there you go. You see it from the overhead cam. That lane pushing all the way out to the outside wall, and that area rather unforgiving. A little more room to rumble off of turn 4, but those trying to make a move through 1 and 2, you have to be mindful of where that outside wall is when you come off the corner, but not an issue so far for Curtis White. He's led the opening 14 laps, and he's got a 0.6 of a second advantage over Gabe Ellison right now. The pole sitter looking in control in the early going.
Actually watching Carrington reel in Gabe Ellison a little bit here. The lead was at about 0.2 just a few laps ago. Now it's about 0.2 between Ellison and Carrington. And another thing that we touched on, yeah, there's a tough exit here on turn 2. There's a lot of bumps through 3 and 4. Very easy to upset the car, maybe hit one of those bumps the wrong way and come down, touch the apron, and then shoot it up, get a bad exit on the corner. So every pretty much square inch of this racetrack, you're constantly on edge. You're trying to drive that perfect line. There really is only one line around this place.
Yeah, you know, anytime you try to make a pass, both cars will suffer because of it. And that's how we've seen so many iconic finishes here in the past, is both drivers, when they get side by side, it compromises their lines. We jump on board here with the 24 of Michael Mullins, currently running P6. For the first time this season, got ranked in the Sim Racer Hub Challenge Series Power Rankings, jumping up to P5 after a quality run last week in Vegas. Going to try and build on that. He's up a couple spots from where he qualified, currently up to P6, looking for more here. But he has got about a second he needs gain on the 22 of Martin ahead of him.
Oh, he's loose!
Oh, into the wall for the 24. Big slide. We stay green, though. However, the 24 is going to lose a position and is going to get some serious fender damage along the way.
You're going to have to go all the way around again here on this replay, but watch him coming out of turn 4. Let's go on board.
Gotta imagine that wheel is going to be real active in a second here. Boy, just slid up the track. He went to go catch it. Was able to tap the wall. Didn't really hammer it per se, but definitely had to get out of the throttle. Lost a ton of time. Got passed by the 81 of Adkins. And now he's going to try and hold on to 7th here, but Rosenberg and Barone hot on his heels. As we've also got a battle developing for 2nd. Here comes Casey Carrington looking to get around Gabe Ellison. Top 2 cars in the points coming into tonight, battling for 2nd place on track.
Ellison is losing ground to the lead slowly here, lap after lap. He's lost about a 10th as my voice slowly starts to fade away here.
Much like your voice, Ellison also starting to fade back just a hair as the 43 now within a car length of the back bumper of the 27. On board here with Carrington. We'll see if he tries to make a move in the 3 and 4. Going to run about a lane higher than the 27 through this corner. Cuts down toward the bottom. Maybe going to try a little over-under action.
He's just looking for a run at this point. I think he's looking for a spot on the racetrack that Ellison maybe is making a mistake to capitalize. There's not a lot of room for error on this line, so pretty easy that he could maybe get some clean air to the nose and stand to get a good run out of the corner.
You see there the 27, not a great 3 and 4. Looks like the 43 gained a little bit of ground on him. Here comes Casey Carrington, nearly gets to the back bumper into the entrance of 1. Ellison decided to get a little bit of an earlier entry into 1 and 2 to get a stronger exit, and the 43 nearly met him there. The dangers of trying to run your line when someone is right on your back bumper is that they might have a different way they're running the track, and the 2 might meet in the middle. Almost did there when we were on board a lap ago. But we continue here with this battle between Gabe Ellison and Casey Carrington.
And what I'm seeing here from Ellison is maybe a little bit of tire save to go catch Curtis White later in this run. But Carrington has kind of brought the 27 back to life. The last time by, they were within a 10th of a second of Curtis White. So it looks like maybe the tire save is not going to be the strategy now for Ellison if Carrington's going to ride the back bumper.
Yeah, you can only tire save for so long before there starts to become some pressure from the car behind you. You have to make that decision. Do you want to go for it, or do you want to let that person go on by? Ellison electing to try and hold on to 2nd place here. We jump back to the 9 of Joseph Blogger, who's on the move. Top 7 spots at this point in time. He is having a nice run to the front here in that Aspiration Homes number 9.
Just got by his teammate there, Dylan Rosenberg. Actually, Daniel Giroux, he's got another teammate in front of him there with Rosenberg. He'll look to capitalize on this, but all 3 of these teammates running from 7th back to 9th right now.
27 laps complete here from Rockingham. Curtis White has led every one of them. You jump on board here this battle. Michael Garone and Stan Carnathan battling to be the last car inside the top 10. And then this 20-car field, meaning a top half of the field result as they go. 66, a little loose off of 2. That's exactly what we were talking about a few minutes ago there, Bradley. With when you run side by side, coming off of turn 2, it can get a little dicey.
Yeah, it's kind of like trying to pass turn 2 at Darlington. It's just not going to work out well. You're either going to stay stationary side by side and make it through the exit, or you're going to slide up into the guy. And now we have another car into the mix. Daniel Giroux falling back to these 2 while they're side by side. So even while they're racing each other, the 82 of Carnathan is able to get a 2-for-1 in the entry of 3.
Yeah, Carnathan had the optimal position there as Giroux was running that high line all the way around. It's the same line the 66 was running. You see they're still running up there up against the wall. The 82 was finding more success in that middle lane, which let him slide on by the 92. Now Garone looks like he's going to get around Giroux as well. The 92 really fading back in a hurry here as Carnathan and Garone get on by for 9th and 10th respectively. You jump on board this battle a little deeper in the field. This is for 14th. Clinton Sneed Just got around Jeff No. The 55, going to try and reel him back in.
And so you're watching this race progress, but what we've seen so far is kind of what we've seen all season so far. In the first 4 races, this field gets good and spread out, and then there's, you know, 1 or 2 car battle, 2 or 3 car battles all over the racetrack, but they kind of end themselves quickly, and the guys move on, and they go after the next spot, shuffle around for the top 5. Tim Bruce actually coming down pit road, heavy damage on the right side of the 411.
Yeah, looks like that car has seen better days as he makes his way back down pit road here. The 4th car now to be scored 1 or more laps down, alongside the 77 of Kyle Shelton. Michael Mullins now 9 laps down, and 15 of Chris Waddle 10 laps down. So a couple of cars finding the Rock to be a bit of a challenge in the early going. I can't say I blame them. This is not the easiest course to drive, and it's not one that regularly comes up in rotation in a lot of leagues, especially in these Gen 4 cars. So something that to keep an eye on is just the war of attrition that will be taking place throughout the field tonight. Curtis White, though, not feeling any of that right now. 1.5 seconds clear of second place Casey Carrington, who had gotten around Gabe Ellison a few laps ago. And as you see Curtis White get around lap traffic there, the 19 of Andy Oak. It's been a banner start to the day for the 63. Got the pole, hasn't looked back. He's led basically every lap of this race. Saying he's led 30, but I don't know when he would have been passed.
I would like to thank ATVO for the awesomeness that they've brought here. We might have something broken here on this new overlay. I'm not entirely sure. We did some testing. It seemed like it worked okay, but we might have to revert back to the old classic Vspeed to make sure that this isn't a continuation. We had problems, if you remember, just a week ago where it said everyone had finished the race. So
with about 30 laps to go in the race still.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's been an interesting couple of days here at Vspeed. Technology always our friend, never once the villain of our origin stories. We'll jump back here with Gabe Ellison in the 27 machine, who's being marked as leading a couple laps. And he may have taken a couple away from White in the early going, but I really don't think he did. I thought the 63 had just launched out to that early start and never looked back. But either way, that gap to Curtis White starting to drop a little bit. Casey Carrington starting to make some headway.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out when Casey Carrington led a lap, so that's where I am right now.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet that he hasn't, to my understanding, because he's had to come from deeper in the field. I would have said it was plausible with the 27, maybe in that early going, but
maybe ATVO's working with AI now. Maybe there's something built in that we don't know about. They're just saying this is how it's going to turn out at the end of this thing.
We'll have to keep that in mind as these laps begin to tick away. You know, how much is ATVO trying to predict versus just recording what we're seeing out on track? It's always interesting working with some of these softwares that, you know, 99% of the time work perfectly fine, and then the 1% they don't, it becomes glaringly obvious. On board here with the 22 of Craig Martin. Quiet day so far, started in P4, now running in fourth position, so he hasn't really made or lost any headway, but has been a solid opening bit of this race for the 22, now 40 laps in.
Gonna get by the lap car, the 19 of Andy Oak on the inside, just behind him, Josh Taylor. Solid day here. Started 5th, he's still in 5th. Doing a fantastic job keeping the number 7 up here in the top 5. He's actually on track with the lap times to catch up to the leaders.
Yeah, he is running really well right now. Obviously still about 35 laps to that stage. So he has plenty of time if he can maintain that pace to start working his way up through the field. Right now looking at the back bumper of the 22. Obviously, you all are watching the SimRacerHub.com Challenge Series. And since 2009, SimRacerHub.com has been the premier destination for high racing league scoring. Our mission is to provide you with the most comprehensive and user-friendly tools to manage your league schedules, results, points, and stats. Plus, our highly active Discord community is always ready to assist you with any questions or issues. Ready to take the plunge? Create a league today and join our community of passionate sim racers. Find out more at simracerhub.com. So we're on board with the 27 of Gabe Ellison in that simracerhub.com machine. It's been a solid day right now for the 27. Last week's winner still holding on to a podium spot here after 43 laps.
And a little bit of damage here on the 43. I don't know if you saw that. I'm not sure where Casey Carrington picked this up, but since then, he's lost almost 7/10 of a second to Curtis White. 1.8, it continues to grow. So he must have got into the wall at some point here in this run. And now all that ground that he was starting to make up is allowing the 63 to pull away.
Yeah, and it does really seem like when we were watching him come off of turn 2, it looked like the 43 was really struggling to get that car settled down coming off the corner. I wonder if that'll be the case again here. I mean, you see how active Carrington is on the wheel. It goes way down the bottom of the track on the exit of turn 2. It drifts back up. A really interesting line he ran through 1 and 2. I'm not sure if that was by design or just that's the way the car feels the most settled down right now.
Well, with that damage, it probably is changing his line a little bit. The car not getting quite the runs out of the corner that it used to. For him, though, the way this league's been going, there's not going to be any cautions based off our statistics here on Vspeed. There's not going to be a yellow that he'll have a chance to get that fixed. So he's going to come down, get 4 tires, and he's just going to have to live with it based on what we've seen in the last 4 races.
Yeah, and you know, I'm looking a little bit here just at lap times over the past couple of laps, and you know, his fall off is starting to become a bit more apparent than the 63 of Curtis White. Curtis White's down about a second from where he was running at the start of this race. Carrington was down about 8-9 of a second from where he started the race, but now it's down closer to a second and a half with the past couple laps. So I think that damage definitely affecting him more than might be letting on. Taking a quick look through the field here. Honestly, might be a prime time to do a quick look through the field. We're on board with Josh Dillon, seeing this battle 8th, 9th, and 10th on track. Adkins and Plowger just ahead of him.
Josh Dillon had a stellar week last week. Looking to try to keep that momentum going here just outside the top 10 on lap 50 as they come across. Got a lot of work to do, but, you know, he's up 1 spot. He's going to go to the outside. That's Michael Mullins, who had the heavy damage gotten to the outside wall earlier in this race. So Mullins 11 laps down.
Yeah, and at this point, he's just running laps, trying to maybe pick up a couple of positions. Obviously, Waddle on track, but 10 laps down. Bruce is several laps down at this point, as is Kyle Shelton. So it looks like there's a lot of that, and I'm getting word that I think the 7 of Josh Taylor are about to be coming down pit road any second now. So maybe trying to make this a 2-stop race, stopping at lap 50 and lap 100 potentially. And here's the 7 getting it slowed down to 40 miles an hour. The cycle of green flag pit stops beginning here at Rockingham, starting with the 7, who was running 5th at the time. It's a long drive to your pit box here at Rockingham when the pit speed is 40 miles an hour. Last thing you want to do is have to spend any more time on pit road than you have to under green flag conditions. He's already lost 1 lap, could be in danger of losing a second when he finally gets back on track, although the fresh tire should hopefully help him erase that deficit rather quickly to at least get back to a 1 lap down situation. You see several other cars with Plowger and not Carnathan, the 43 of Carrington, Craig Martin, looks like the 92 of Drew. Bunch of takers now coming down pit road.
Here comes Stan Carnathan as well in the 82. Looking at the time down pit road for most of these guys, it's about 42 seconds. But for Joseph Plogger, it was 43.5. So he lost a little bit of ground here. He's back 2 laps down, back to 15th.
Yeah, and, you know, Plowger trying to get back up to speed here, got around the 77 of Kyle Shelton. So most of the field at this point has come down pit road. 9 cars remaining on track, led by pole sitter Curtis White, who has not made a misstep all night so far. This green flag pit cycle, though, this is where things start to get interesting. How long will he stay out before he elects to come down pit road? See, he's got the 82 there to his inside, getting 1 of his laps back. But Curtis White going to give it another lap at least. Getting way up to that outside wall is the 63 through 1 and 2. All those cars on fresh tires, a little more apt to go down low, as we almost saw an incident behind them. Plowger and Tim Bruce nearly collected each other off of turn 2. But a good evasive maneuver there by the driver of the 9. And you can see, here comes Plowger on new tires. You can see the distance that he makes up here, specifically through the corners. And this is the difference between new and old tires right now at Rockingham. Oh, the caution's out.
Well, we broke the streak.
For the first time since the season opener, the yellow flag has flown here at the SimRacerHub.com Challenge Series. First time since Daytona. Wonder if it involves the 82. He was just down pit road for new tires. Now he's back on pit lane.
I'm not entirely sure here.
It seems like he might have been fine.
He came back down pit road. He'd already came in once. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I'm also trying to take a look here to see what it might have been. Not getting much of anything at the moment.
Oh, he tried to sort this out. I'm not entirely sure where this yellow came from.
Was it the 411 of Tim Bruce?
No idea. I didn't get any indicators on my timing screen at all about a car falling through the field or off pace.
Yeah, I've got no idea. So the Phantom caution, the old school debris caution, we'll say, out here at Rockingham. A piece of sheet metal, or someone's drink cup may have found their way onto track. Who knows? Either way, caution's out for the first time, and with the stage at lap 75, it's going to set us up for a quick shootout to the stage. It's worth noting there are no cautions here for the stage break in this league. So whenever they hit the line to complete lap 75, we will take note of the 10 cars in the top 10. They will be the ones issued stage points. Obviously, the leader at that point will be declared the stage winner. But things will remain under green flag conditions beyond that point. So a prime opportunity for some of these cars to get fuel and tires, try and set them up for the end of this race. Also a big opportunity there for the 43 of Carrington, try and get some damage repaired on that machine.
Yeah, I said that earlier, that he wasn't going to have a good chance of getting that repaired. Thankfully for him, he does have that opportunity. Maybe he can make another drive towards the 63, who's, as far as we know, personally, has led every single lap, but according to ATVO, has only led 55. So, curious when that happened.
Well, what's particularly fascinating is I'm almost wondering, even if it's not ATVO, I wonder if it's an iRacing deal, because I'm looking at the 63 through the race session here, And if you were to go to his lap count, it's just crossed out for the first 4 laps. And the first lap it says that he ran was lap 5.
Wow.
Which I find really fascinating because he was very clearly on track.
So maybe a connection issue as we hit 1 to go.
Maybe. So as they get lined up here, quick run through your top 10 when they get going. It'll be about a 13-lap shootout to the stage. Curtis White leads with Gabe Ellison to his outside. Dylan Rosenberg, Josh Dillon, that's second row. Jose Ruiz, Clinton Sneed, row 3. Jeff No, Michael Garone, row 4. Sheldon Atkins and Josh Taylor, row 5. Looks like a good bit of the field trying to get stacked back up here. They've actually added another lap on to the caution here because the field was not at all connected as the pace car was coming off of 4. We'll get one more go around here from Rockingham. It's been an interesting early going to this race. You can really see who has succeeded in these conditions and who has really struggled in the early going. A number of cars already a lap down. I mean, look at the difference there. The air temp is a cool 74, but the track temp a blazing hot 120 degrees. Unbelievably toasty, that track surface right now. And you know the tires are feeling the effects of that.
Oh, without a doubt, this track already challenging enough, but now you go raise the track temp above 100 degrees. And yeah, I think to confirm what we were saying earlier, though, we do have that 2 lead change, so not exactly sure when that happened with ATVO and iRacing, but maybe the 63 had a connection issue and blinked out with invalid lap times, maybe throughput. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll have to address that for the final going there for the points. But here we are. No restart zones technically here, but we hit that line. We're back green flag racing at Rockingham.
Not a great launch for the 27 of Gabe Ellison. It's going to open the door for Dylan Rosenberg to take a peek to the inside here through 1 and 2. Nothing going, though. The 27 retains second place as they make their way down the back straightaway. And a big gaggle of cars there going through 3 and 4 in the back half of the field. Everyone fighting for position while everyone's bunched up.
And Casey Carrington behind that car in the wall there. I believe that was the 15 of Chris Waddle.
It was indeed. Boy,
the 19's around.
Sideways. I think he collected Joseph Plogger. They're into the track and more cars around. And the caution's out for the second time here tonight. And to your point you made earlier, Rockingham very much a track of yellows breed yellows. That one, though, we definitely saw what happened. Oh, my.
19 got heavy contact by the 9. He comes back down.
Then Waddle got a piece as well. And the 9 slides back down to the apron. So at least 3 cars collected in that one. Carrington and Carnathan just able to get by. Waddle not so lucky. And Tim Bruce, Kyle Shelton both dive to the inside to avoid him. 3 cars, I believe, connected there. And yeah, just big push from the 9. And the 19 got him in the back bumper on their way down the track.
And Carnathan already had some damage, so I don't think he really needed any more help here. And he gets a little bit more from this.
Yeah, Carnathan.
Actually, it was the 15 of Waddle.
Yeah, those two able to slide on by. The 15 of Waddle. Tonight has not been a pleasant evening for the driver of the 15. Chris Waddle already was 10 laps down before that restart. Got to imagine it's going to be even more now. Currently scored 19th. It's not been a banner day for the Oops All Berries Captain Crunch machine.
Well, while we have an opportunity here, we're going to take a quick commercial break for the final laps of the first stage, the first half of this race at lap 75. You're watching the SimRacerHub.com Challenge Series here on Vspeed. More coverage continues right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, folks, here to Rockingham, the 5th race of the season for the SimRacerHub.com Challenge Series. Curtis White has led basically every lap of this race, according to everyone who has watched it. Not according to iRacing or ATVO, but that's a story for another day. Curtis White in the 63 machine has been leading up front. Gabe Ellison will be restarting to his outside. Did not get a great launch on the last restart. Will be looking to redeem himself this time around and give him a closer run into turn 1. But the pace car going to peel off back down pit road. They're going to cross that line for the restart. And here we go, racing once again at the Rock. Two and three wide, scattered throughout the field, with Curtis White leading them off of turn 2. See everyone trying to fight for a little bit of real estate down that back straightaway. Side-by-side action here. Craig Martin, Jeff No, the battle for 7th, and they're 2x2 behind them.
How about Michael Mullins trying to get his way back on the lead lap? He's 11 laps down right now, but a lot of work left to be done. If this race continues on its trend, he might get back up there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously currently scored in the 19th position, but with back-to-back cautions and only a couple of laps, might have him cycle through via attrition. Ben Carnathan's around. Gonna go into the infield grass, locks it up, keeps it off the wall. But since he is out of the racing line, iRacing will not throw the yellow flag. And Stan Carnathan just going to have to get back up to speed here. We've seen him get loose a couple times tonight. That one, though, nearly sent him into the inside wall. Boy, big slide for the 82. I don't believe he got any help from the 55. Or sorry, the 55. You see, that's Jeff No off the back bumper there. He's getting a little bit closer, but yeah, the 82, just a little ambitious on those colder tires, trying to get off the corner. Ends up spinning it. Gabe White, though, still leads. Only a couple of laps to go here before they will mark him as the stage winner, unless Gabe Ellison can make a charge in the last 2 laps.
And Curtis White has done a fantastic job so far this race of just staying in clean air. That's 90% of this place, is just being able to run your own line, not getting caught in traffic. But you want to talk about traffic, this guy is weaving his way through a lot of it really quickly.
Yeah, there's the 43 of Casey Carrington. Looks like he's gotten some of that damage repaired. He is working his way back up through the field, now currently scored in the 8th position. Gonna try and find his way around Sheldon Atkins here, snag another stage point in the final lap. Looks like he's going to get under the 81 and might have a move here into turn 1. But this is the final lap of the opening stage. Remember, folks, there will not be a yellow. This will just be marked for points. Curtis White gonna come out of 3 and 4. He has led every lap to this point, and he will win the stage here at Rockingham. Gabe Ellison, Dylan Rosenberg, 2nd and 3rd. Dylan Sneed, Martin Atkins, Taylor Carrington, and No The cars behind them here also getting stage points. So congratulations to Curtis White. Obviously, job far from finished, still halfway to go. But he has done very well to this point, although Gabe Ellison putting together a bit of a run here. It's about as close as he's been all evening long to the back bumper of the 63.
Yeah, he's within 2/10. We've seen this once before, but he's getting major runs here out of the corner. Earlier in this race, seemed like he might have been saving his stuff earlier in the run, but maybe he discovered that it doesn't much matter if you save. This track's just going to burn the thing off of it. You got to go after him while you still have a chance.
Yeah, so while he is still in range, he's going to try and make something happen. Only a quarter of a second the difference. Meanwhile, Josh Taylor, Casey Carrington battling it out for P8 on track. The 43 going to slide on by the 7 and try and get back to the back bumper of the 81. When we had left Casey Carrington just a moment ago, he was trying to get by the 81, and then he fell back behind the 7 when we were calculating points for the stage. He was going to try and get back around the 81 here.
I want you to go on board here with Shelton. He was just in front of the 43. Watch this exit out of turn 4.
Oh, big slide, chases it up the track. That was a dicey moment there for the 81. Expertly handled though. Still in front of the 43, just barely. And Clinton Sneed about to fall back into this mix as well to make it a 4-car battle for 6th. Sneed all the way back to Josh Taylor in the 7th.
This is a race high for Clinton Sneed right now. Started back in 19th. Elected not to take a time. Didn't even try to qualify. And he's just outside the top 5 here. Has a little bit of ground to make up on Craig Martin. About, let's say, half a second here is the gap. But he's kind of slowly worked his way through here, and that's tough to do at this place.
It truly is. So it's been a great drive for the 49, although he can't take his eyes off what's going on in the mirror behind him, because here comes Casey Carrington, who's gotten around Sheldon Atkins, and now the 43 hungry for more as he tries to take away 6th place from that SimRacerHub.com machine just ahead of him. Oh, Atkins scraping the wall down the back straightaway. The 81 going to lose a ton of momentum there. I mean, he absolutely tattooed the side of that wall for the majority of that back straightaway. Takes it all the way across the Thunder Valley. Doesn't get separated from the wall nearly until they hit the entrance to turn 3.
So Sneed actually going to lose a position now. It looks like maybe 2 of them as they come out of turn 4. 7 to Josh Taylor to the outside. A little bit of damage on the outside corner there on the right-hand side of the 49. I don't know if that's affecting him at all. He's going to tag the apron in 1 and 2. Actually, looked like it helped the car rotate a little bit, but not going to be enough. And Josh Taylor up to P7.
Yeah, it may have helped a hair, but not necessarily a tactic I would recommend trying to replicate. Anytime you start touching the apron at these speeds, it can always lead to disaster if you're not careful. The 49 going to have to settle back into P8. Curtis White still leads by half a second here over Gabe Ellison. We saw the 27 get within about a 10th and a half of the back bumper of the 63, and then just didn't have the move lined up to make something happen in that moment, and now starting to fall back a little bit more. Although the 27 is the only car within a second and a half, really, of the leader, Dylan Rosenberg, in 3rd, nearly 1.5 back at this point. And then it's another 1.5 back to Josh Dillon in 4th.
Continuing to watch Clinton Sneed. He's fallen back to 9th here, just within a few laps. So he was in 6th just, what, 3 laps ago? Continuing to lose ground.
Yeah, he's certainly struggling a little bit with the handling of that car. Sheldon Atkins will go on by. Jeff No lurking behind him. The 24 of Mullins also there, maybe trying to get around the 49. Although Michael Mullins will not be making this pass for position. He is still 19th, 11 laps down with that earlier contact with the outside wall. So he's just trying to win a few spots back here through attrition, maybe naturally get one of those spots back and finds his way up to the leader, or if some more cautions happen. Either way, the opportunity just to run a few more laps here. Is Josh Taylor going to take a peek to the inside of Carrington? These two cars have been glued to each other since the restart, no matter what position they've been battling for. The 43 cannot get any separation from the 7 right now.
There might be some of that damage there. Remember, the 43 was blazing around this place, worked his way up to second, and then once he picked up that right-hand damage, the car fell off almost 6 or 7 tenths, and there's a deep dive into 3 for the 7.
Expertly timed from Josh Taylor. Didn't have the run down the back straightaway, so he poked his nose back behind the 43 just for a second. Wee bit of that draft, and then drove it real deep into 3 and 4. Able to slide up in front of Carrington, and Taylor will move into P6 within 7/10 of a second of Craig Martin. Meanwhile, deeper in the field, there is Daniel Giroux battling with Jeff No. Giroux going to slide on by for P11 there. After a great start to the season for the 92, it's been a little bit of a quieter past couple weeks and has been a very slow going for him right now at Rockingham. Obviously started P10, currently running 11th, trying to get back inside the top 10 here. Just has not really had the traction he's needed to make his way up through this field.
Well, we saw, success for a lot of guys at different tracks. So Daytona, the super speedways, able to work together with teammates. This place doesn't really favor that. So you're kind of more reliant on the driver specifically rather than where you are field position wise, or maybe having that guy around you that you can draft your way up through. Keep in mind that there's still other tracks like Michigan, Talladega on the schedule that they can use that to their advantage. But here at Rockingham, draft really doesn't mean a thing.
Yeah, by the time you start getting the speeds where it would really kick in, you're already diving back into the corner. We're seeing here the 27 starting the rally. Maybe has saved his stuff a little bit more than the 63 has over the course of this short run. Or maybe just trying to keep him back within reaching distance. The gap now 4/10 of a second between Ellison and White. It's the longest we've seen the 27 stay within the striking distance of the leader this deep into a run. Obviously, he fell way back in that opening stint. Doing a much better job this time around, keeping the leader within arm's reach, as Curtis White just not able to get away.
And so what I'm also kind of confused by right now, Josh Dillon, the 12, where did he come from? I mean, he was running outside the top 10 there at one point in this race. Now look at him, up to 4th. He's actually pulled away. So maybe with Casey Carrington and a few others having issues early in this race, the 24 Mullins, maybe Josh Dillon decided, hey, now's my time to go up here and snag away a podium.
He's getting pretty close to doing so. Up to P4, about 2 seconds behind Rosenberg in 3rd. Josh Dillon, notably a much better finish last week, his first podium of the year after a lap 1 DNF at Atlanta the week prior. You see the 66 of Michael Garone on pit road, and boy, the right side of that machine looks pretty battered.
Very beat up. Chris Waddle also into the pit stall. Kyle Shelton has been down here for about 2 minutes now trying to get some damage repaired. This might be the start of green flag pit stops for the final segment of this race. This would be about splitting the run in half. Based off of this, we're 40 laps into this stint. So just about 5-10 laps shy of splitting in half.
Only 13 cars remain on the lead lap right now, led by Curtis White all the way down to Stan Carnathan, who, despite that spin not too long ago, still on the lead lap and within a couple seconds of 12th place Daniel Giroux. 7 cars currently off the lead lap, starting with the 9. of Joseph Walker, who you can see actually just ahead of Carnathan. He is the only car one lap down. Everyone else not on the lead lap is multiple laps behind at this point. As we are on lap 100 out of 150. And Bradley, I say it's probably time for us to get loud here at Rockingham. So everybody go reach for those volume knobs. Feel free to crank it up. We're going to get a little loud here on Vspeed, brought to you by 29 Graphics. Boy, hearing these things roar around this racetrack is just a thing of beauty, isn't it?
It's probably the best car on iRacing in my opinion, and it's a lot of fun to drive. It brings back kind of that sound that is notorious for NASCAR, and I think it's something that's lacking from the sport. When you go to one of these races in person, you don't want to be able to hear your thoughts. So there's one of the things that we've even talked about on our broadcast, going to Indy and watching the Indy 500. Those cars just so quiet and muffled, and I bought hearing protection for my son, thinking I'd been to previous races, and going to NASCAR at Bristol, you can't even feel your toes. It's so loud,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I went to a number of races at Dover back when they still had those back grandstands up. And probably a little quieter than it was at Bristol, just for the extra half mile there, but very much the same effect as you see Josh Taylor bringing it down pit road here for what could be the final time tonight. Gonna get enough fuel to make it to the end of this race. Pit from inside the top 10, and he was one of the first takers down pit road during the first pit cycle, so not a surprise to see that he might be kicking off this final round of pit stops here as well.
Gabe Ellison's lost a little bit of ground. He was actually within half a second, but a mistake out of turn 4 puts him back to 1.3 seconds as we set up here for green flag pit stops. 27 is down.
Gabe Ellison gonna make his way down pit road. A critical stop here if he's gonna try and gain any time on the leader, Curtis White. The 63 still out on track. It'll be at least a 1 lap difference on the tires. How many more laps will Curtis White try and push it, though, before he, too, comes down pit road?
Well, it looks like one more.
It's going to be at least one more, creating at least a 2-lap gap on tires between those two cars. Curtis White has led every lap of this race. But when we come down for green flag pit stops, maybe that'll change.
He's got Dylan Rosenberg about 6.5 seconds back, and we know that you can go 2 laps down here, especially if you're outside the top 5 right now. That's a pretty highly likely. Rosenberg a little loose out of 4 here.
Most cars at this point have come down pit road. You see Josh Dillon now doing the same, pitting from P3. Only about 5 cars yet to make their stop. White, Rosenberg, Ruiz, Jeff No, Clinton Sneed, the only cars that remain out on the racetrack. As you see Gabe Ellison on those fresh tires fly past the 6 of Jose Ruiz. In a quiet night for the 6, we're going to try and do a little bit of strategy play here. going to stretch this thing out, try and make something happen. It looks like the leader comes down pit road. Curtis White going to hit the box for the last time tonight.
And that will change the lead over to Dylan Rosenberg. The 91's going to get a lap led. As here comes your pole sitter for what should be the final pit stop of this race.
Looks like a clean entrance there for the 63. Here comes the 91 of Rosenberg as well, which means the lead, at least temporarily, will be inherited by the 6 of Jose Ruiz. Going to try and stretch this thing basically till the fuel cell runs dry at this point, I'd imagine. If you're the 6, just going to hope for a caution and see what happens. Might be the only strategy left here for the 6, as for the 55 and the 49 behind them.
And Jeff, no, Clinton Steed, both these cars, they're a little off the pace here tonight, so they kind of got to throw a Hail Mary, see what happens. Just keep throwing something at the wall until it sticks.
So the thing that I'm noticing right now, because of how much earlier he pit, Gabe Ellison has about a 3.5-second advantage over Curtis White, but he is on several laps older tires. Can the 63 track him down in the closing 30-some laps?
Based off the lap times and the distance, it's about 0.2 of a second advantage right now. 3-lap difference on tires. If he can run that consistently for the next 10 laps, very, very possible.
Yeah, right now it'll be critical while he's got that slight tire advantage to make the most of it for the 63, but you also got to make sure you keep a little bit of rubber on those tires for when you actually get to the back bumper of the 27, so you can go and get on by. That gap now below 3 seconds, slowly dwindling its way down as we make our way to 35 laps to go here from Rockingham. Jose Ruiz still leads, but has yet to come down pit road, as has Jeff Noe and Clinton Sneed. Those 3 cars cannot make it to the end on fuel. Here comes the 55 down pit road at this point. And now only 2 cars remain out on track, yet to come down pit road. Ruiz and that man right there, Clinton Sneed in the 49.
So now I got to wonder, are these guys trying to save anything? We know, oh, there's a yellow. This just changes everything.
The caution is out for the 3rd time here today. Unbelievable break for Jose Ruiz and Clinton Sneed. Trying to figure out what the caution was for. Might be the 15. See Chris Waddle there on the high side. Oh, just heavy contact into the wall there. Him and Andy Oak. And he comes down into Casey Carrington. Spinning the 15 around. Oh, and he got the 7. Just became a demolition derby down the back straightaway.
What happened here with the 15 of Waddle? Did he lose connection with his monitor? Because it seemed like he had no regard for the cars around. He didn't like slow down or try to keep the car in a line. Look at this. He just continues to come down the racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, just absolutely tagged first Carrington and then Josh Taylor. You know, so the 15 obviously gets a huge piece of the wall there. Just trying to get off the wall, does so into the 43, and then just drives it down into the 7, trying to get off the track. That's a tough break for the 43 and the 7. So Ruiz and Sneed are gonna pit finally. Looks like a couple of cars are gonna stay out. Actually, a few cars are gonna come down pit road. Looks like Carrington overshot his box actually. So while there's a few cars to stay out, this will be a huge opportunity for Jose Ruiz and Clinton Sneed to get the track position that they've really lacked all evening long. Well, while we've got a minute here under caution, be a prime time to tell everybody about Rapid Fired Pizza. The first Rapid Fired Pizza opened its doors in 2015 in Dayton, Ohio. And the idea was simple. Make delicious, fast, and affordable pizza. Now available in 25 cities across the country, customers love the fresh taste, the speed, and the ability to create their own perfect pizza with over 35 different toppings and sauces. Go to rapidfiredpizza.com for a location near you. And a big thank you to Rapid Fired Pizza for being one of the many sponsors of the SimRacerHub.com Challenge Series. Shoutouts as well to Admin Box and Aspiration Homes. For everyone who may have tuned in a little bit late, I'm Alex Gagnon. Alongside me in the booth tonight, Bradley Cooper, giving you all the camera shots that you're seeing out on screen there. It's been a fun one from The Rock. Most cautions of any SimRacerHub.com Challenge Series race this season.
Yeah.
A grand total of 3.
They were going on a record. They were going to try to beat the record tonight. They broke the record, but not the right one.
Not the right one. Although, only 3 through 120 laps of Rockingham is still pretty impressive, all things considered.
Yeah, but I think we still got 30 to go here. We still got a lot of racing left to do.
That we do. There is no doubt about that one. So as we make our way with 30 to go, the complexion of this race has completely changed with those 2 cars who had yet to come down pit road before the caution came out. So Jose Ruiz and Clinton Sneed going to be your new front row. Gabe Ellison, with the timing of that caution, will inherit position over Curtis White, which could be huge for their respective battle if they clear the 6 and the 49. And it also creates an interesting opportunity here for Josh Dillon right into the thick of things as well. We've known that 12 has been sneaky fast tonight and now has an opportunity to battle up there with the front of the field.
Yeah, and I think right now the situation has kind of flip-flopped where he was trapped a lap down during green flag pit stops. So I don't know that he's in a good spot now, being 1 lap down. However, if he can avoid the next thing that happens in this race, very easily could get back on the lead lap. He is the first car a lap down, so good chance here as he'll restart in 10th. But Jose Ruiz, Clinton Steed, yeah, they haven't showed the pace, but they do have the advantage that now they have track position. They could very easily get a top 5 day out of this.
Yeah, and the biggest thing, especially I think for the 6 of Ruiz, he'll have that clean air hitting the nose of that car that he has not really had at any point tonight. Could be a huge opportunity for the 6, the 49, or really anyone in this field now that everything gets bunched back up. When they hit the line, it'll be a 29-lap sprint to the finish. Here at Rockingham, pace car peels off back down pit road. Lines getting stacked up. They jump on that throttle, and away we go once again at Rockingham.
Oh, the 19th around.
6. Andy Oak in the infield. What has happened to the 19?
Tire spin, it has to be.
Oh, yeah. Tire spin down into 7. Then just into the grass he goes. But we stay green here as he was off the racing line. So Jose Ruiz going to take point.
Oh, interesting. Ellison got around the 63.
Yeah, so he was able to capitalize on this restart, holds on, and now will be in prime position of the cars that we know have pace tonight to try and take the seat away. But a big block from the 49 going to keep him at bay for now.
Oh, loose again for the 49 of Sneed. He's trying to hold on. 92, and I believe that's Daniel Giroux. 4 laps down, and he's going to let him by, but oh, the 49 is really loose again off of 4.
Going to lose out another spot there to Curtis White, and now there is no more buffer between the fastest 2 cars on the field that we've seen tonight and the leader, Jose Ruiz. The 6 is going to have 25 laps at the line here to try and defend against Curtis White, who has been dominant tonight, and Gabe Ellison, who has been there at the end in just about every race we've run this season.
He's going to have to drive perfect here. If he wants to win this race, he has to be perfect. He cannot allow the 27 to his inside. He's already made a mistake out of 2 right there.
Ellison gets to the back bumper, but now Curtis White looks to get to the inside of the 27. Ellison having to play offense and defense, but making a lunge here in the turn 1 is Gabe Ellison. This is for the race lead. Potentially the race win with only 23 laps to go. Ellison to the inside of Ruiz in 3 and 4. Here comes Curtis White as well. A 3-car battle for first unfolding here in 3 and 4.
Good defense there on the outside by Ruiz, but it's not going to be enough. Ellison's going to try to go back-to-back now as he takes over the point with less than 25 to go.
Now it's critical for the 63 of Curtis White to clear the 6 in a hurry if he wants any chance of keeping Gabe Ellison in reach. Looks like he'll be able to do so into turn 3. And now the 2 cars that have run 1 and 2 all evening long back there again in reverse order. The pole sitter chasing the car that won last week. Can Curtis White pick up his first victory of the season, or will Gabe Ellison become the first driver to go 2 in a row?
I think more importantly is you got to ask, is this race going to get stolen away? Because Curtis White was dominant all race long. Right here, a moment just now for Clinton Sneed. Almost got up into the 6 of Ruiz.
Yeah, those 2 cars really lose a whole host of cars not on the lead lap in the mix there as well. See Michael Mullins, Daniel Giroux as well. Little battle going on a little deeper in the field. The 9 and the 55, they are also not on the same lap.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a battle. Here we go. There's one.
There you go. Rosenberg and Josh Taylor battling for 5th. The 9 got right to, or the 7 got right to the back bumper of the 91. To no avail that time around. Gonna try it again here in the 3 and 4.
Remember, Josh Taylor was the car that got tagged by Chris Waddle after whatever happened on the backstretch. And somehow he's still got a car to drive. I don't know how he kept it from hitting the outside wall in 3 and 4, but he went completely sideways, just got launched into that corner. And somehow, we got a car on the wall.
Someone was way into the wall. I think it was Clinton Sneed, who's going to fall. He's going to lose 2. He's going to get passed by 2 cars, neither of which, though, are on the lead lap. Rosenberg is the next car that he needs to worry about. But look at this battle for the lead. We've only got about 18 laps to go here, and the battle is on for the race win at Rockingham. Gabe Ellison has a mirror full of Curtis White, and they're approaching Casey Carrington, who is lap traffic at this point, but this is major points implications as Ellison is the guy closest to him in the point standings right now. How will the 43 let this shake out? Will he just let them go on by, or is he going to try and do a little pick and roll with the 63?
Yeah, it's to be determined, but right now I think he's going to have to do something with the 43. Use him to his advantage, because it doesn't look like the 63 can pass. He can lead, but I don't know if he can get around. This is a short stint, too, to think about, Alex, compared to the long runs that we've had in the beginning half of this race. He might be using his stuff up. Gabe Ellison might be in his head at this point.
The possibility, but there is still about 15 laps to go when they come to the line. A great exit there for the 63. Got under the 27, not alongside, but continues to poke his nose to the inside of the 27, trying to show him that he can get lower than him through the corners, which will be a need if he's going to be able to pass him. But it's one thing to get under a guy, it's another thing to get alongside him. You see the 27 more than content to run about a lane off that apron.
And he got a really good run out of 3 and 4. He's going to pull back out about a 10th as they go into 1 and 2. 63 has been driving deeper into the corner, but I don't know if the track is really favoring that anymore. As rubbered up as it is, we'll check back on the weather here. The track tip has came down a little bit, so Usually when you have a hotter track, you have to get your drive into the corner and then just kind of feather out. But as the track cools down, you can afford to drive off a little bit heavier on the throttle. And I think that's what's happened here. The track has changed in the favor of Gabe Ellison.
Yeah, and that clean air not to be overstated either for Gabe Ellison. He spent so much of this race as the person chasing the leader. Now the opportunity to use that fresh air to his advantage. And it's paying dividends right now as we jump back here. This is Josh Taylor, Dylan Rosenberg. The 7 has gotten around the 91. They both have gotten around Clinton Sneed. So Josh Taylor now in the 4th, trying to chase down a potential podium position. He's got 2.5 seconds to make up if he's going to get the Jose Ruiz right now, holding on to 3rd place.
And I just want to shout out to the 6 car and how this played out for him. He stayed
White
out.
might have a run. That gap less than 1/10 of a second. Apologies to Jose Ruiz. We will give him his flowers in a moment. Curtis White, though, got alongside, couldn't make it stick. That's how close he got out of turn 4 and just was not able to maintain that run. It was such a shallow exit for the 63.
Try again.
Absolutely.
Ruiz is on the good side of this, though, with the caution, staying out. Clinton Sneed also, I mean, he stood to gain a lot of spots from this as well. But 9 positions gained here for the 6 of Ruiz. 8 spots gained for Clinton Sneed. There's a lot of guys that got trapped a lap down, got put in bad situations. But for the 6 car, I'm sure he's feeling a lot better than I am right now.
I'm sure he is. As meanwhile, up for the lead, Curtis White took another pass at Ellison, got again within 0.05 of a second of the lead, and then just couldn't make it past stick to the inside. And every one of these attempts that does not work for the 63, I think is just going to burn his tires out more and more. I don't know how many more of those diving attempts he's got left.
How many more does he have before he gets into the 27? That's another question, because usually when you start to do that, the right front's getting burnt off. And it's very easy to get back to the throttle too soon. When you get to the inside, you get back to the throttle. He's going to try the outside here. It looks like he's going to move it up a lane.
Gonna try something different, try and get a run off the corner. Here is Curtis White.
I think he learned something.
The laps of the day, and to your point, it did seem to really work off of turn 4. Does he try it again this time?
Does Ellison? Oh, Ellison in the wall. Yeah, he's definitely going to try it again.
The 63 trying to set up a big run off of turn 4. Here he comes closing the gap.
Got a lap car. It's going to interfere a little bit.
19 of Andy Oak. He's going to try and get high and out of the way, forcing both cars low. Not really where I think either one of them particularly wanted to be. And Curtis White lost a good bit of time there, back to the bottom for the 63.
Yeah, he had to make up some of that ground back up. Maybe he's just trying to hypnotize Ellison into thinking he's going to go high. I don't know. There's a lot of psychological things that you can do as a driver to just put pressure on, show him that, hey, I can run anywhere. I can go anywhere I want. If you make a mistake, I'm going to find a place to get around you.
5 laps to go here from Rockingham. Gabe Ellison trying to hold on against a surging Curtis White, who continues to poke and prod, just cannot find a way through. Right now, back in the 1 and 2 they go, diving in behind them. They both slide up to the wall. Now back to that middle lane. The 27 driving that lane up toward the wall and then exiting at the bottom of the corner in 2.
He's moved it up a lane too.
His way by.
Ellison's moved it up a line. He's trying to give dirty air to the 63. It didn't work out for him this time.
He's got to run to the inside. Curtis White, door to door with Gabe Ellison. 3 laps to go here at Rockingham. Can he make this pass work on the inside?
He's going to have to.
Twice. It didn't work those times. Will it work this time?
Oh, it's got to be frustrating. If you're to the inside several times, you know you're faster, you just can't clear. And looks like Ellison going to hold on for 1 more lap, 2 to go.
2 to go, shaping up for another one of those classic Rockingham finishes. Gabe Ellison leads by 2/10 over Curtis White. It is a two-car battle for the win here down the back straightaway. Penultimate time in the turns 3 and 4. Ellison by a car length over Curtis White coming off the corner.
This is the last chance.
White flag in the air. One more lap around for the 27 and the 63. Curtis White going to try and give it one more shot here in the turn 3. Ellison goes way low to block. Gives White the high line. Here comes the 63 up high, giving it everything he's got. Ellison with a big block. 63 sideways off the corner. And Gabe Ellison gonna win back-to-back races.
Wow.
What a victory for the 27 points. Did the 63 lay it out there at the end or what?
He gave it everything. He gave it everything to the inside wall. You would not see a guy do that in real life. But the 63 of Curtis White said, I have to get back to the throttle. And he got to the door. We got to go back and watch that.
Yeah, we'll have to take another look at that one. A conservative line from Gabe Ellison into 3 and 4, trying to defend the bottom. Curtis White let it all hang out on the top lane. Got alongside the 27, and the car just couldn't hold it. And the celebration is on for Gabe Ellison in a very hard-earned win. He's going to give it the old Polish victory lap.
Well, it's a good chance to use our static cameras. Not as they're intended.
Waving to all our virtual fans here at Rockingham. The 27 of Gabe Ellison. After coming so close the first couple weeks. Now back-to-back victories. First Las Vegas, now Rockingham. Very different races though. In Vegas, he was probably the car to beat. Tonight, Curtis White gave it everything. And look at how close he got to his first win of the season. I actually think he might have been able to hold on to it until the 27 came up and, maybe disturbed the air on the nose of that 63 just enough when he was already a bit sideways.
Yeah, he had to go down. I don't know. At that point, I think if I'm the 63, I run into the back of him and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it really would have probably been the only thing. But without wrecking the guy, that was about as much as Curtis White could have done there in 3 and 4. Put himself in position to have a chance. Just wasn't able to make it happen when it was all said and done. But what a run for the 63. What a finish. The SimRacerHub.com Challenge Series, another thriller here in round 5. We're going to jump to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, tonight's final results and interviews with our podium finishers you won't want to miss. So don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
folks. We are back after an absolute thriller here at Rockingham. Another one of those classic Rockingham finishes. Gabe Ellison, Curtis White put it all on the line there in those closing couple of laps. And ultimately, it was the 27 of Gabe Ellison picking up the win by only a couple tenths of a second over Curtis White. You see the gap there, exactly a third of a second, as the 63 was trying to save that thing in the infield. Jose Ruiz went long on the pit strategy, got a timely caution, and was able to hold on for his first podium finish of the season, up 9 spots. Josh Taylor, Dylan Rosenberg rounding out the top 5. Clinton Sneed finishing 6th tonight, Jeff Noe 7th, Craig Martin 8th, Michael Garone 9th, the last car on the lead lap, with Joseph Blogger finishing in the 10th position.
11th spot's going to go to Josh Dillon. He got trapped a lap down after all of the pit stop cycles and that caution that came out untimely. Sheldon Atkins is going to finish in 12th spot with Andy Oak 13th. Daniel Giroux off pace here tonight. He'll finish 14th. Tim Bruce 15th. Stan Carnathan, a lot of problems throughout this race. He went through the infield grass. He'll finish 8 laps down in 16th. Michael Mullins, kind of the power ranking guy here after the first 4 races. Not a good finish for him, 17th tonight. Also another guy that's been having a lot of success. Started up front. First half of this race went well. Casey Carrington's going to end up 18th with Kyle Shelton and Chris Waddle rounding out your field.
And with that being tonight's results, it's going to be prime time to make our way down to Victory Lane and talk to the winner here tonight. The 27 of Gabe Ellison picks up win number 2, back-to-back weeks. Gabe, congrats on a win. Boy, did you have to fight for that one at the end.
Yeah, that was a very hard fought win. I wasn't sure if I could pull that off. I think Curtis was pretty clearly the fastest car the whole race, but I managed to short pit him on that long run we were getting in the back half of the race. And I think it put him, 3-4 seconds behind me, but he had fresher tires. So it was going to be one of them deals where, when will he catch me, see if I can keep him behind me. But then we got that yellow. So I think that really worked out in my favor because it put us on even tires. And I was just able to protect that high line.
Yeah, that caution came out really conveniently for a couple of drivers. But I think lost in the shuffle there was how much that worked out for you, maintaining the track position you had over the 63 while putting you all on even tires. Was that the difference maker in you being able to pick up the win tonight?
100%. I think if you go to that last restart that we had, and he gets past the 2 cars that started in front of us before I do, I don't think I'm sniffing his bumper. I think he beats me by a second, to be honest. So at the end there, he had my number, but if you protect your right rear here, it is extremely hard to pass with how slick it is off the bottom. So it was just a track position game.
And one that ultimately fell in your favor. Now back-to-back race wins here for you. Obviously, with the 43 having some trouble here tonight, I wouldn't be surprised if the 27 machine moves up to first place in the point standings after 5 races. Got to be encouraging that the wins are coming now after a couple of weeks where you were so close.
Oh yeah, it feels good. Last week felt really nice because I actually felt like I was the fastest car. This week I was not, but it's always nice to kind of steal one off a strategy. So you take them how you get them.
Alrighty, well, Gabe, congrats on the win tonight. Anyone you'd like to thank or shout out while you're up here in the booth?
Yeah, as always, thank you to Clinton Sneed for running the league, as well as Casey Carrington for the collaboration with the Thursday night. And then, as always, huge thanks to you all in the broadcast booth for putting on a great broadcast.
Alrighty. Gabe, thank you so much for joining us here in the booth. Congrats on win number 2 this season. We'll let you go and celebrate.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
That was race winner Gabe Ellison picking up his 2nd win of the season in dramatic fashion. And the person that he just narrowly defeated is the driver that Bradley Cooper has just caught up with on pit road.
Well, Curtis, I'm a little under the weather tonight, so if I don't give you the best interview in the world, I apologize. But that race kind of looks how I feel. It's just been stolen away. It wasn't how it was intended to be. You come out of turn 4, you gave it everything you had, and then some. How frustrating was it to have this one stolen away?
Honestly, not that frustrating. I mean, yeah, it sucks. It didn't. I had the run coming off 4. Ellison kind of wiggled a little bit, I think, and I tried to set him up high. I had a really good run, but at that point, I burned the tires off because it's the last stint of the race. I'm going for it, and the right rear just completely snapped. I don't know if I would have had him beat with that run. It would have been really close, but that last caution was actually a lucky break because I don't know if the broadcast caught it or not, but I actually tank slapped the wall pretty good before my last pit stop. So my arm was cramping like hell. So I lost about a couple of seconds, and when Ellison like short pitted me, he gained like 2 or 3 seconds on me, and he got around all the traffic. So if it stayed green, he probably would have held me off because I would have had a hard time getting through traffic. Yeah, it sucks, but that's my best race of the season so far, and honestly, I might have peaked here because I didn't think I was going to run as well as I did tonight. Because I'm going to, like, Ellison, Carrington, those are the top guys here, and I was able to run away from them the first stint. I'm like, holy cow. I just kept with it.
Well,
The track was changing constantly, but I wasn't able to keep up as much as Ellison was, but I tried my best there. Second, first loser, but I'm pretty happy with the result.
Curtis, I think you need to give yourself a little bit more credit here. You know, I'm kind of dazed here. I'm on a lot of Dayquil, but I can see that you had speed here tonight. That car was on point, and based off what you did here, there's no reason you can't do it anywhere else.
Oh no, I'm not taking anything away. Taking anything away from what I've done. It's just compared to previous runs this season, I haven't really had that kind of speed. Should have had a 4th place at Auto Club, but I spun on pit road, so that was one that was robbed for me. I mean, yeah, it was a good race. It was a great race. I mean, more stuff happened. The cautions kind of threw a few curveballs at us. I don't know what happened to Carrington, but he kind of fell behind. I think he got involved in one of the wrecks, which was unfortunate to see. Because I knew he probably was going to be in contention as well. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's a good result for the team, good result for me. I don't know if I would have won if it stayed green all the way through, but it looked like it was a pretty good chance of that. But, I mean, you can never guarantee these things. That's just part of it. Ellison had me beat when it mattered, so it is what it is.
Well, here's the last thing I want to ask you. We're going through the final stint of this race, the final probably 25, 30 laps of this show. And you took probably 4 or 5 different attempts before the final stab out of turn 4. But was it that the car just couldn't pass on the inside? Did you really use up your stuff, or was it just that difficult here with the way the track had been used to actually get clear of a guy?
I think it was a bit of both. I used up my front tires, but also I wasn't really hitting the entries into the corners like I wanted, because I have a bit of a knack for giving guys more room than I need because I try to race as clean as I can. So maybe I could have arced the entry a little better, and maybe I would have had a shot at clearing him, but it was just difficult. If there was a way to get around him, it had to be around the top, and I tried that earlier. A few times when he was still running low. I'm like, well, this is my only shot. And then once it was his time to move up to the top, it was kind of too late. At least I felt like. That was when I realized the last lap was kind of my last shot there. But, you know, it is what it is. We'll take it, learn from it next time, and on to Charlotte, I guess.
Well, Curtis, we appreciate the fireworks. You gave it everything you had, especially there out of turn 4 on the final lap. Is there anybody that you want to shout out before we let you go?
Well, shout out to you fine gentlemen here on Vspeed, man. I watched back on the broadcasts ever since I joined at Auto Club. They've been a fun rewatch for me and the team afterwards. So I appreciate you guys bringing these beautiful races here on YouTube, and also shout out to everyone watching. You know, shout out to my team. They kind of kept my head up when it was kind of down halfway through the race, and obviously, you know, you got Rapid Fire, Aspiration Homes, Admin Box, all the beautiful partners that you guys have supporting this league, and if it weren't for them, we wouldn't be running right now. So shout out to everybody that's a part of this.
Curtis White, second place finisher here. What could have been, what should have been. We'll see him next time. And at Charlotte, hopefully you can carry this momentum into that.
10-4, thank you guys.
And finally, that brings us to our third place finisher, Jose Ruiz, and that I believe he's in this Discord. We're having troubles finding Alex. Do we have Jose? As I see, we're looking for the 6 car right now, our third place finisher. We'll try to figure that out for you, but let's see if we have.
I just realized that whole time I was muted. Apologies.
It's
I was saying
fine.
that Ruiz was here briefly while we were talking with Curtis White, and then he is now no longer anywhere on Discord that I can see. So
Maybe some connection issues here for the third place finisher. Well, I guess we'll take it to another graphic here while we can wait and see if he shows up before the end of this broadcast. But let's go ahead and tell him where we're going next week.
yeah, absolutely. So after the thriller we've had here in Rockingham, the fun does not stop. Next week, September 10th, 9 p.m., we are going to Charlotte. We're keeping it here in virtual North Carolina, going from Rockingham to Charlotte, the crown jewel of 1.5 mile tracks, in my opinion. And with the way these guys have run the past few weeks, I think we're going to be in for a real treat next week when we get to Charlotte Motor Speedway.
I think you're right on that. Charlotte is another one of those places where this car just thrives. Bringing back the Gen 4 was probably the best thing that iRacing has done in a long time. As far as stock cars go, this is a true driver's car. More difficult to drive than anything else on the sim, but also a lot of fun. It kind of goes back to the disciplinary style of stock car racing. So I can't wait to see what these drivers have in store for us here from the SimRacerHub.com Challenge Series. Hope you guys can join us there next week on the 10th of September. Well, my Dayquil is wearing out, Alex. Any final thoughts before we let him go?
Yeah, I'm just going to say, even though we did not have the opportunity to chat with him tonight, big shout out to Jose Ruiz, up 9 spots, finishing third. An incredible run there, good strategy, got him in good position for a good finish. So unfortunate that we weren't able to chat with him tonight, but a very good run for that 6 car for his first podium of the year. And otherwise, I guess 3 cautions makes this a wreck-filled affair, frankly, as far as this series goes. You know, a total of 5 cautions in 5 races. Big thanks to the 3 from Rockingham tonight. Still one of the cleanest series I've ever seen through 5 races.
We appreciate it. If you guys enjoyed tonight's broadcast, make sure you hit that subscribe button on Vspeed. You'll never miss a single race, as we have flag-to-flag coverage all season long. Would like to thank everyone here at the crew. Adam Baker in the background doing all the things that he does. Alex Gagnon for taking over the lead while I'm having a little bit of problems. We'll see how I feel next week. Hopefully I'm back to 100%, but right here I'm probably about 65%, I would say. But we thank Sim Racer Hub and their challenge series for bringing us on. We'll see you next week at Charlotte. Take care, everybody.